Revelation 729. From the 31st of December 1938. New Year's Eve. Stance. You must take every test upon yourself and show yourself growing through it. And when the Lord admonishes you to be patient, surrender humbly to His will, for He alone knows what is good for you. At this time, everything on earth is trying to numb itself. Only very few quietly contemplate themselves and think of their Creator. And with infinite melancholy, the Lord sees the activity of His creatures, who do not want to miss anything on earth which gives them pleasure, and who give away without hesitation the benefits which only benefit the soul. They do not consider that they can stand at the turning point of life. That they can still stand in the middle of earthly life today and already stand at the gate to eternity tomorrow, and that they will then leave earthly life hardly prepared for eternity. All enjoyment of life must have an unfavorable effect on the soul, and harm is done to the soul in the same measure as the body revels in the good life. In a time of unrestrained enjoyment of life, the adversary is granted every power. He can take possession of the senses of man and thus have a destructive effect on the soul, and all demons gain influence on it, but man is much more inclined to enjoy earthly life to the full than to concern himself with spiritual things, and the army of spiritual beings on the other side has truly no easy work, if it also wants to assert its influence on the earthly children. The true knowledge holds man back from such unworthy activity, but to find the union with the spiritual world or to keep it, is unspeakably difficult for the earthly man. Therefore both, the good as well as the bad spirit beings, develop an indescribable activity to draw people into their spell, because the evil power has certainly considerable advantage. It keeps the upper hand, because the will of man pursues matter too much and sees his happiness only in the intoxication and in the fulfillment of his desire. All the splendor of the world prevents the inner vivid contemplation of the eternal Godhead. Man is so far away from everything purely spiritual. He stands in darkness, because the earthly splendor gives no light to the soul. This starves and lacks, although the body revels in abundance, and there is little possibility that in the midst of the hustle and bustle of the world, the earthly child lets his thoughts wander upward and willingly separates himself from the earthly splendor, which after all is only appearance and can offer no advantage to the soul. Who can resist such temptations in time? Who pays attention to bring the light of the soul and willingly lets the body go without, will visibly stand in the blessing, because the spiritual beings are extremely ready to serve such endeavorers. They strengthen every still weak strength, help the struggling soul, and from seemingly uselessly spent hours arise such great advantages for the soul, that man only wins where the body denies itself joy and pleasure in worldly relation. For above all earthly joy of the body, stands the happiness of the soul. This, however, is incomparably more valuable than the hours of unadulterated enjoyment of life, for the latter is transient, but the former endures for all eternity. Amen.